Have you ever heard of a pope putting a corpse on trial? Yes. An actual dead body, dressed in holy robes, made to answer charges in court. This is the unbelievable story of the Cadaver Synod. Imagine walking into a courtroom and seeing a corpse sitting on the throne. Not just any corpse, but the body of a former pope, dragged out of its tomb, dressed in holy robes, and forced to stand trial. It sounds like a nightmare, or perhaps a dark comedy. But this truly happened in the year 897 AD. It was called the Cadaver Synod, and it remains one of the strangest, most grotesque spectacles in the history of the Catholic Church. The story begins with two popes, locked in a bitter struggle for legitimacy. Pope Formosus, who had reigned from 891 to 896, had made many enemies during his life. He was accused of breaking church law, of switching allegiances between kings, and of coveting power that wasn't his. But after his death, one man in particular, Pope Stephen VI, was determined not just to erase Formosus's legacy, but to humiliate him beyond the grave. So, in January of 897, Pope Stephen ordered Formosus's corpse dug up from its tomb. The body had been rotting for months, but that didn't matter. Dressed in full papal regalia, robes, crown, and staff, the dead pope was placed on a throne inside the Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome. The scene was macabre. The stench of decay filled the church. The corpse slumped awkwardly, its skin grey and peeling, yet it was made to sit like a defendant in a trial. Stephen presided as judge, thundering accusations at the body. A deacon was appointed to speak on behalf of the dead pope, answering questions while the cadaver remained, of course, silent. The charges: usurping the papacy, breaking canon law, and daring to act with authority he did not deserve. Witnesses were called, the dead man condemned. At one point, Stephen shouted, "Why did you usurp the See of Rome?" To the corpse, an eerie theatre of hatred and madness. Unsurprisingly, the verdict was guilty. The corpse of Formosus was stripped of its sacred vestments. The fingers of his right hand, those used to bless, were cut off, and his body was declared unworthy of the papacy. As a final insult, the corpse was dragged through the streets of Rome and thrown into the river Tiber. But the story does not end there. Rome was horrified. The people saw this grotesque trial as madness. Anger spread quickly. Later that same year, Pope Stephen VI was deposed, imprisoned, and strangled to death in his cell. And as for Formosus, his body was recovered from the Tiber, reburied with honor, and the decrees of the Cadaver Synod were annulled. In time, Formosus was even re-honored as a true pope, while Stephen's memory was cursed. The Cadaver Synod remains a chilling reminder of how far the lust for power and revenge can go, even to the point of putting a corpse on trial. It is both tragic and absurd, a moment in history that feels like theater, yet shaped the politics of the Church for years to come. History is full of stories that sound too bizarre to be true, but this one really happened. What do you think? Was it justice or pure madness? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold stories from the past.